Ladies and gentlemen, race week is here. The 2025 Singapore Grand Prix is just around the corner, and we need to talk about Max Verstappen and his fifth world title that he is going to win in 2025. He's going to win the fifth world title in 2025. Some of you guys are saying that this is delusional, still a long way to go. We'll see about that. And now, the strategy part. Because Red Bull, for the majority of the season, has not done justice to Max Verstappen and gave him a shit car. That's why he dropped so further back in the championship standings. And now it's time for Red Bull. I mean, fortunately, they got their shit together, the car performance and balance wise, which is why Max won the last two races. But now they need to do more to make up for all of the incompetency that they had in the earlier parts of the season to help Max Verstappen close the gap further to Oscar Piastri. Now, here's what they need to do in Singapore on a track which is potentially going to favor McLaren, right? The first thing they need to do is they need to deploy the Racing Bull drivers. Now, Racing Bulls, they got a good car. It's a stable car, good package. In terms of raw pace, they're not as quick as the McLaren boys, but they can get to Q3. Now, this is the most interesting part and the most important part. So when the Racing Bulls driver, Isaac Hadjar and Liam Lawson, Isaac Hadjar is more probable to go to Q3 because he's good in qualifying. Liam Lawson is a little bit shit. But either way, whoever goes into qualifying and Q3 makes it into Q3, their job is to impede one or both of the McLaren drivers, especially Piastri, because Lando Norris is going to bottle the start, and if Max Verstappen is around him, then he can definitely put the pressure on him. And Lando also made mistake in Singapore last year. He almost DNF'd in Singapore last year with no pressure from behind. So at least one of the Racing Bull drivers need to impede Piastri's Q3 lap in Singapore. And obviously, now you might be thinking, but what if they get a grid penalty? I mean, that's a necessary sacrifice, ladies and gentlemen, at this stage. Desperate times require desperate measures. And we need to do, I mean, when I said we, I mean Oracle Red Bull Racing needs to do whatever they can to help Max Verstappen win his fifth world title, consecutive world title in Formula One. And the first step, I mean, it's not enough that you do better, others should do worse. So, deploy the Racing Bull drivers to impede the McLaren soy boys in Q3, get a grid penalty, take it as an L onwards. That's the first thing. The second thing is, in the race, if you suddenly grow a conscience and don't deploy the Singapore plan and, get in the way of McLaren drivers, this is the second alternate strategy. In the race, do something very opposite to McLaren with the Racing Bull driver so that they get in the way, right? If the both of the McLaren drivers pit early, then you go late, try to get ahead of them, try to block them, try to negate their pace, because it's very difficult to overtake in Singapore, especially if you're good in corners. If you're the leading car and you don't have a lot of dirty air, then it's very easy, relatively easy, to keep a faster car behind. And in Singapore, the opportunities to overtake is very less. And both of the McLaren soy boys, they ain't got the balls to, pull in dangerous overtakes. And also, they would like to minimize the damage, right? If Oscar Piastri or Lando Norris will attempt 50-50 moves, then there is a risk that they will go home with 0 points, right? That's something they cannot afford. So if you don't impede them in the qualifying session, then in the race, you must block them in some type of way. You gotta do it. Do a very alternate strategy to the McLaren. Without a pit stop, you can definitely end up ahead of them. And there, you gotta block them motherfuckers from, you have to prevent them from overtaking you. Oscar Piastri will be a little bit difficult to defend, but Lando Norris is very easy to defend. He's not going to be that aggressive. He's also not that crafty in terms of race. He has got the pace, I'll give him that. So those are the first two most important strategies that Red Bull Racing needs to do. And the second thing is, now Yuki Tsunoda is back, if you guys haven't noticed. So Yuki Tsunoda is now starting to pull in some good performances from that Red Bull. Double points finished for Red Bull Racing Team last time out in Azerbaijan, which is a very rare thing since the last 2 years. So Yuki Tsunoda is finding some performance in the car, and the Red Bull needs to use him. They need to, I don't know how, maybe crash into one of those like McLaren boys, attack them like in a very aggressive way, go wheel to wheel, rub some tires, give one of them a puncture, whatever it is. Yuki Tsunoda needs to do the kamikaze strategy of the Japanese people. It's cultural, he will be into it. So that's the third approach that Red Bull Racing needs to do. So the first approach is use the Racing Bull drivers to impede the McLaren boys in qualifying. The second approach is do a very alternate and unconventional strategy in the race to get ahead of them so that you can block them. The third thing is Yuki Tsunoda kamikaze. And after that, the fourth thing, which is actually beyond the control of Red Bull, are Ferrari drivers. Now, believe it or not, Ferrari usually do good in Singapore. Last year in Singapore, the smooth operator took the checkered flag first, and Sebastian Vettel also won with Ferrari, and obviously this year with Lewis Hamilton, they are kind of running one-legged. To all of the Lewis Hamilton fans, this must be very, very difficult, and also very, very difficult for all the Ferrari fans. But the point is, Ferrari had a horrible weekend in Azerbaijan, absolutely disgusting, if you ask me. Based on the pace this showed in the practice sessions, like their race performance was absolutely abysmal. And Leclerc said after the Azerbaijan Grand Prix that we got to react, which means they will definitely try to find some performance for Singapore. They will but Leclerc is very good in qualifying. But Ferrari can do anything. So Ferrari just needs to fit the right tires on Leclerc and Hamilton's car in the qualifying session. Otherwise, we will see a repeat of what happened in Baku. But if that happens, I don't think they're gonna do the same mistake twice in a row, because that's not the Ferrari way of things. Ferrari like to do unique mistakes every single weekend. So in Baku, they fucked up in the qualifying by fitting the wrong set of tires in Lewis Hamilton and then sending Charles Leclerc out in not so optimal time, whatever it is, and then Leclerc also fucked it up. So it's a little bit on the driver as well. So in Singapore, they probably are not going to repeat the same mistake. It's probably going to be a strategy blunder or a pit stop blunder or something like that. Which means in qualifying, they may end up around or ahead of the McLaren drivers. Because remember, Charles Leclerc, when he has the right car, he's going to extract the best possible qualifying lap. And he is a better driver in terms of pure pace and skill and racecraft compared to both of the McLaren boys. So Ferrari, the dark horse, they can definitely get in the way of McLaren, and this is where Red Bull, who are already great at managing their strategy, need to capitalize on these type of opportunities. Mercedes will mostly be out of contention because it's a high temperature track, and these type of tracks usually don't suit them. And traditionally, Mercedes have not been that competitive around the streets of Singapore. So you can't really say much about Mercedes' performance. Either way, the main point is Red Bull Racing needs to undo the damage they did to Max Verstappen's fifth World Championship campaign by using the Racing Bull drivers to ruin the race weekend of Singapore. One more double DNF of the McLaren drivers, not even a double DNF like Piastri, like Toto Wolff said it. Toto Wolff said that Piastri is one DNF away from Max Verstappen right there in the thick of the championship fight. And last time Toto Wolff said something like that, exactly that happened. I'm talking about 2021 British Grand Prix. So this time, definitely one of the Mercedes drivers, I would really love it if one of the Mercedes drivers just turn into both of the McLaren drivers, then it's gonna be fun. And Max Verstappen wins, capitalizes, 25 points, slam dunk, onwards. This is what we need to see this season. And again, Red Bull Racing needs to have all of their ducks in a row to help Max Verstappen clinch his fifth driver's world title. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. I'm extremely delusionally hopeful that this season will end up in a more exciting way than how it has been going on so far. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.